Greetings YouTube, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Super Mario Bros. Last time we left off, we heard some really troubling news. Our princess was in another castle. Will we find out what happens during this part? Let's find out. Now first things off, we're introduced to a new enemy called the Lakitu, or Lakitu, depending on how you pronounce it. I say Lakitu, some people say Lakitu, it doesn't really matter. Point is, they throw these little enemies called Spinies, which you can jump on because they obviously have spikes in their back, but you can hit with a fireball or hit from underneath by a block. As you can see, they respawn every time you kill them, but not right away, so you have a chance for a little bit of freedom from them. Well, basically the end of this level is a mad dash to the finish, avoiding all these Spinies, as you can see here. So be careful with your jumping and you should be fine. It's a pretty easy level, and when you get to the end they back off and that's the end of the level. That was a pretty short level. I mean, if you don't have the Fire Flower, you just be a little more careful. Either way, you'll be fine. And I didn't mention this last part, but there's kind of a structure to each of the worlds. Normally, the first level of each world is a basic overworld level. Usually the second is either a cave or underwater level. There are a few exceptions, but usually that's the case. And the third is in the sky, usually, with a bunch of high-rise platforms. So, it gives you kind of an idea of what to expect next, if you haven't played the game before. And this level is full of blocks. Lots and lots of breakable blocks, which I show off here. And this level actually has two different warp zones. One which I'm showing off right here, which is actually this vine, which I think is in the middle block for some reason. Turns out it's on the end, which I figure out in a couple seconds here. Which actually sends you to a clouded area, which sends you to either World 6, 7, or 8. So you can skip another half the game if you take the warp pipe from World 1. And basically cheat your way through it, kind of. And these are Buzzy Beetles, which cannot be killed with fireballs, only thrown into pits. But they can be used to throw out enemies, so that's very helpful. Now, if you take this elevator up, you get to another area which only has one warp pipe to World 5. Not quite as nice as the one earlier, but it's still nice nonetheless. And yeah, I should have jumped there, that wasn't very smart. That actually helped out here, because I could easily get to these coins. And I almost had that jump. Yeah, there's some pretty tricky jumps in here, but that was the end of the level. So, once again, fairly easy. It's not until usually about World 5 where things start to pick up and you get some pretty difficult layouts. Lots of enemies, lots of coins, lots of fun. Yeah. So here's another sky level with a bunch of high-rise pillars. However, these ones look like mushrooms, which I like a lot better than the normal, green platforms, which are in a lot of the levels. But this makes you use the weighted platforms a lot more than the last level, because you have to use them to jump across. Like, right here, it shows really well. If you stand on it for too long, it kind of dips down a bit, and the other side starts to go up. It's shown off a lot more in the later part of the level, but these levels are only filled with those red Koopas, never any green ones. Bowser was actually smart and put the good minions on the little platforms. Yeah, see right there, that platform down, that one went up. That one went down, that one went up. Then that's the way it goes for each of those platforms. So you just gotta be a little more careful instead of the normal jumping. And, once again, end of the level. Really, really short levels. And on to the castle, which is actually one of my favorite castles in the game, just 'cause it's got a little bit of puzzle elements to it. And the fact that if you don't jump in the right sides of the platforms, you will have to repeat the level over and over again. You see right here, if you go on the top, this makes a level go to a next part. If you go on the bottom, it repeats this part again. So, you just gotta make sure you know where you're going. And right here, if you go down and you see that little ledge that drops down, that's the right path to go. If you can take this path, then you're on your way to the boss. If you take the other two paths, though, it repeats that section and you have to do it all over again until you figure it out. And they try to be a little more tricky here by putting a fire rope rather, down. But, once again, same old, hit the axe, drop the bridge, dead Bowser. And I don't think I mentioned this last time, but each of these has, like, different animations for Toads by the end of each of the worlds, when you beat them. And the original is just one Toad saying, "Sorry, but our princess is in another castle." Which is still pretty annoying. Anyway, this level introduces us to another new fan-favorite enemy, the Bullet Bill. These little guys come from these little cannons which shoot non-stop. If you're next to them, usually they don't fire, but there's some exceptions in some of the games, but regardless, you just jump in their heads, they're dead. That's all there is to it. And seizure time! Yay! One thing I want to mention here, though, is in this game, each enemy killed in invincibility only gives you 100 points, or 200 points, depending on which enemy it is. It doesn't, like, rack up and give you 1-up if you kill so many, which is one of my favorite features added in later games. And here's another bonus area. I didn't try going back for those coins up there because it would have been way too difficult and doesn't seem worth it for a couple of coins. And there's Bullet Bill. See, they got little arms which sway as they're being shot. I thought that was pretty funny. And that's the end of this level. So, all in all, each level, world adds a kind of a new trap or mechanic that really doesn't affect you if you're pretty decent at it. Yeah. And, oh, this level, they definitely wanted to add Hammer Brothers a lot. There's a total of 4 Hammer Brothers in this entire level. One right here, which is kind of cheaply placed because it's pretty hard to dodge. And right here, I barely get hit on the foot and have to waste my super mushroom and using invincibility frames to just jump on them. That's one of the kind of tactics you can use in this game. If you get hit and you're invincible for a few seconds, just kill the enemy you're dealing with. Makes life a lot easier. And yeah, those are second Hammer Brothers, so all in all, so far, it's pretty difficult if you don't get your timing right. And yeah, 2 more right there. I almost had him, but he jumped up right as I hit the block, so he didn't die. And hey, look at that, more Buzzy Beetles. Right here, I know I figured this out from the last part, that there's probably a power up in the corner, and I was right, it was the Starman. Which is just awesome. I mean, who doesn't like Starman? His music's awesome. And, once again, end level. And yet again, like I said, each of these has usually a set structure. That 5-2 is the exception because that was an overworld level rather than in the cave level. Once again, sky platforms, jumping, but there's a lot of bullet bills this time, so you gotta be careful, because otherwise if you make a stupid jump, you'll run right into it, and you'll die, or get hit, or fall into a pit, or any combination of the 3. Either way, you just don't want to get hit. And they have these little moving platforms, which can be pretty tricky to nail the timing on if you're not careful. But then again, that can be said for a lot of the platforms in this game, because it is a platformer after all. You just gotta time your jumps right. And onto the 5-4 castle. This has kind of got the same structure to a previous castle in the fact it's just a long strip of fire ropes, but meh. This one in the beginning really is kind of ridiculously long. I try to duck for some reason, dodge it, but that's not going to help when it's a flaming rope of fire. But I don't get hit a second time, luckily, and have to deal with all these little fire ropes. So all you gotta do is just some slow walking, and you'll be fine. And what we're coming up to is another little elevator section that, again, is like the previous castle that shoots fireballs, and yeah. And it's next world. There's actually a new well, kind of a new attack Bowser has, but you'll see that when we get there. And I try to be sneaky and jump over him, but that doesn't work out, and I just run underneath him. And I always like to do that, like make him walk towards me when I'm near the axe, just jump on the axe, and he's so close and just falls down. And we have 5 Toads this time, helping out the little unconscious friend there. I wonder which one said our princess is in another castle. I bet it's not the guy who was knocked out. Because he was knocked out. Captain Obvious strikes again. Anyway, we have Lakitus again in this level, which throw more Spinies, but I don't have Fire Flower here right at the beginning, so I can't easily kill it. But I do have a Super Mushroom, which does help. And yeah, yeah. Sorry, I twisted my words again. Basically these levels you just want to sprint, sprint, sprint. Don't worry about your timing so much as you do about dodging those Spinies, because they will hurt. You cannot jump in them, so if you, like what I do here, this shows off another little, I don't know, it's not really a glitch, but if you hit up a power-up like a Fire Flower when you're Super Mario, and you get hit, and you take the Fire Flower, it only makes you Super Mario. It doesn't give you a Fire Flower. That was kind of changed in later games with the fact that if you power ups like a Fire Flower in your Mini Mario, when you get it, you turn into Fire Mario, not just Super Mario. But for this game, no, you don't get that luxury. And anyway, more jumping. And here's a little coin here that I like collecting coins. Coins equal free lives, and free lives equal no screw-ups. That's a good outtake on life. And yeah, this level is pretty average. There's a little secret up here. I believe... Yes, I go... No. What level am I thinking of? I have no idea. Anyway, this is our last... This is the pipe I was thinking of, right here. Because I know I'd go back towards it and jump... No? Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I cannot believe I thought twice now there's a little bonus when there wasn't. Wait a minute. Is it? No, it's not there either. For gosh sakes, I just don't know where the secrets are, do I? Anyway, end of the level, on to 6-3. Which I do believe is, another sky level. If I'm not completely mistaken, which I hope I'm not after that horrible mistake I just made. And I was right. It is a sky level. It's nighttime, but it's still a sky level. And more bullet bills. And another little spring here. Just jump up. You gotta be really precise with the timing of that, though. If you don't press the button right on time, you're not gonna go anywhere. Which is kind of frustrating when you're trying to do a precise jump and it doesn't happen. And you see here, I tried this platform so many times and keep failing, then eventually just, oh, look at that, jumped on it. And you see those were a lot more narrow than the other ones were, so you gotta be a little more precise. And spring almost hit by that bullet bill, but luckily wasn't. And these ones fall down as you jump in them because your weight causes them to fall because apparently you're really that fat. Go Mario. Obesity is not allowed. And anyway, on to the last castle of this part. Again, these levels are really short, especially the castle ones, because it's all just basically lava pits. Their main hazard here. I mean, really, this is not that difficult. Just time you running. And one jump there, and one jump there. And then I get hit. I'm so smart. Anyway, here, this is where he starts throwing hammers, so you gotta be even more careful than usual. But just walk underneath them and you're fine. And he's dead. And believe it or not, our princess is in another castle. Never would have figured that out. And there's only 4 toads this time rather than 6, but they have this nice little mushroom cap over them. Anyway, that's the end of the part.